Good evening and good morning to all you beautiful people out there in the land of the interwebs. I hope you are all well. I am Anne Rekovich and this is
Renata Daniel.
And together we are Frightfully Good. And you are here for the Frightfully Good Hour with Anne and Renata.
Yes.
I said I could practice that.
You did.
Oh no!
You did.
I've had my coffee this morning.
So we're going through the ABC of Paranormal Strangeness and we are up to the letter C, and today we have decided to chat a little bit about Crisis Apparitions. So hello Jenny and Carrie and Christy, good morning, and Andrew, nice to see you again. And we also have Barbara Harrington Craft, which is a lovely name.
Oh, that sounds very nice. Where are you from, Barbara? We know Andrew... Christy, Jenny and Carrie. Oh, excuse me as I wheeze. Woo!
And hi Joshua.
Hi Joshua. Where are we all from this morning? We are based in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia, if you can't tell from our delightful accents. And this is the show that we do for the Paranormal United Network. So if you haven't heard of that, make sure you get over on Facebook and subscribe, or YouTube, and follow these guys. They are providing so much paranormal content from all around the world, and we are very honoured to be the Australian contingent. They must have been able to find anyone else. No one else was awake at the hours we're awake. Where are we all from?
At work.
From Sparta. Woohoo! Sparta! Oh, wow. Hey, Chris.
Uptown New York. Awesome. In California.
Oh, and Linda, thank you so much. And welcome to the craziness that is Anne and Renata. Yes, we did win a couple of awards in the Paranormal Awards, which we are ever so grateful for, to all those people who voted for us. It's an honour, really. Minnesota. And
Heart Cardiac Tap. That's awesome. That should be my husband's name.
Massachusetts, South Florida. Awesome. All right, so what we're getting onto today, we're tackling crisis apparitions. Mm-hmm. So has anyone heard of a crisis apparition?
You sent me a crisis apparition this morning when I was running late to get here.
Yeah, she sat down in that chair 90 seconds before we went to air.
Yeah. And I had a profound vision of you staring at me and screaming. Going, where are you?
That was my inside scream.
I
was very calm on the outside because I was prepared to do the show on my own, even without a cup of coffee in my hand, which thankfully very much she's gone and collected for me.
Oh, we've got a Philippines.
Oh, welcome.
Awesome. Yes, so crisis apparition is a vision that you see that is sent to you by another person. And the interesting thing about that, before I get on to anything else, is that there are as many crisis apparitions seen that are given by the living as there are those that are about to pass, or just about passed over, or have passed over.
Now, we've got, just before we go any further, let's define what an apparition is, because that can mean many things to many people. I'm going to be using Lloyd Auerbach's Hauntings and Poltergeist book. Apparitions...
You got a discount price for $3.
Yep. I bought it from Thrift Books. I love it. I love Thrift Books. It's fantastic. Apparitions are conscious, thinking beings existing after the death of their body and capable of some form of communication with the living. Right? So that's what Lloyd is saying. I'm not saying this is definitive. Ghosts look like people, like you and me. Sometimes they're a bit fuzzy around the edges, sort of out of focus image, or a bit on the see-through side. I love the way he writes. It's so easy for many levels to understand. Those are exceptions. The see-through ones, I think he's talking about, those are exceptions. In general, reported apparitions are in 3D and look like solid citizens. Apparitions usually run from the top of the head to just around the knee with the feet missing.
Ooh.
Yeah. In some encounters you may not realise that what you've seen is actually an apparition.
Hi Jeremy, good morning.
Hi Jeremy, have you actually seen an apparition, Renata?
Yes. I have.
What did you see?
It was in the middle of the day, actually, and out on a busy street. And it caught my eye as I was turning to look at the other side of the road. So it was a fair distance away from me. And I was barreling down the other side of the road, crossing a road crossing. And so my attention was drawn just for a second to the right-hand side as I was crossing the road and hoping not to be run over by a car. And I saw a half-body apparition. So it was just to under the waist. And it was fuzzy, and it was see-through-y, and it was white-grey, and it had a face, arms, and the top of a body, and it was moving like this, walking.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
Yeah, and it was just a split second, a moment. I turned. I couldn't get a visual identification of who or what it was, male, female. By the time I looked back, because it's literally a right-hand turn, is there a car coming, left-hand turn, I'm stopping this car, right-hand turn, it's literally out of sight within 2 seconds. So, but it was a half-body apparition.
Wow. Interesting, huh? And there have been reports of ghosts that you only see them from the waist down, knees down. And sometimes the famous one that they reported in York, wasn't it? Where they had the Roman centurions, where they saw them marching only from the knees. It's like their knees were on the ground. And they worked out it was because if that was the
original road that they were on was built a lot deeper than the building.
Not what I'm after, but yes, thank you for getting to the punchline. But you know, when the non-intelligent, playback, what does they call it? My words, I haven't had coffee. It's too early in the morning for us. Residual, thank you. It was a residual haunt, so it was just going through the motions, and it's playing back what it would always do. But because the road was down lower, that's where they could only be seen from. My apparition. Hi Courtney, thank you. So this is Courtney, who is from the Paranormal United Network. And look, if you could all just take the time to share this live feed, that will really help. They've also organised a paranormal convention, which was the link I had up earlier. So make sure you support that as well. So my apparition was of a solid person who I thought was on our tour at Maitland Jail, and they looked as solid as you and me, and I only sort of realised after I did a double take and they were gone that was what I'd see. Can you just grab me a tissue? I'm going to sneeze. Thank you. Oh, these are the ones that smell like old ladies. Oh, dude, they're frangipani. They smell like old ladies. I've had my first AstraZeneca COVID shot. I am ready. Hi, Crazy Joe. Sorry we haven't been on Instagram to have a look at messages. We'll get across and have a look at that.
So, do you want me to throw out a definition of a crisis apparition for you?
Sure, why not?
Okay, fantastic. Let me do it. So, a crisis apparition is a term used to describe a wide range of experiences occurring at or near the time of a distant loved one or acquaintance's death or last dying moments. They may be involved in an accident or experiencing some other unexpected event. And I've got to add to this that not always is it about death, although in most cases it is. Anything that is a astounding event that raises a lot of emotional vibration can set off a type of crisis apparition. So many people have reported they have been seen a lifelike apparition of a friend or relative at about the time that the person is dying or involved in an accident, although the person experiencing the apparition has had no normal way of knowing about this event at the time. So to the person that is experiencing the apparition, it is out of the blue. And often the apparition comes through full-bodied with a message or just as an appearance to go, hey, I'm here. So it's like the two consciousnesses connect and there is a transference of information that something significant and profound is happening. So the one person needs to literally give that message to the other person so that they know.
Is there anyone here who has actually experienced one of these crisis apparitions where they've had a friend that was in a car accident, or a loved one who then you found out later had died, just suddenly appeared and then disappeared? Here we are.
It can also be that comes through in a dream.
Watching me watch him. Wow.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It can come through in a dream. So the person may be asleep, and in their dream they see the scenario where someone has been involved in a car accident, or they have that particular person appear in the dream as if they come through to interrupt the dream and go, hey, I'm here, this has just happened. And often what happens is that the dream is so profound that you wake up and you look at the time. And often what we also hear is that, for example, someone may have had the dream at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then in the morning after they wake back up again, they get a phone call to say that Auntie Jane passed over at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that's exactly the time they had that dream.
Yeah. Penny, tell us about it. Just type up a quick story about what you saw and how you experienced. So, heart. Asthma, cardiac taps said that they had a crisis apparition. They were watching him watch him, and that the person who appeared to him had actually committed suicide.
Oh,
so they were in a crisis, and they've projected themselves to someone that they probably felt they could trust or they cared for.
Patrick Keller, how are you?
Oh, gorgeous Patrick.
Gorgeous Patrick has an amazing podcast as well.
Called?
Big Seance Podcast. Big Seance Podcast. And I believe, Patrick, you had an awesome interviewee last time you recorded, and it was all about a particular movie that everyone loves. So drop them a line. Pop on here what your podcast is, because we've loved you for a really long time, Patrick.
Thought you'd appreciate that t-shirt, Patrick. So Patrick experienced a crisis apparition. I had a great grandmother come to me very dramatically to comfort me after her son, which was her grandfather, had died.
Oh.
Hey, Nana. I was in crisis when my grandfather appeared, who had been deceased. Oh, okay, so you were in crisis and you had someone who was previously deceased appear to you. Now, how's that for an interesting spin on it?
That's interesting.
Like it.
Wow. Now, these are also called sometimes deathbed apparitions or deathbed visions. And so it's another bit of an offshoot here from the crisis apparition. And I guess I could maybe put my father into that category, but reversed. So my father was in his last moments on Earth, and I was there in the hospital with him. And one of the last things that he said before he passed over is he looked up in the corner of the room and he said, "And what now?" to whoever was there. And they were his last words before he passed over. So obviously he was seeing something. Now, whether this is a brain thing that happens as some sort of a reflex that we have so that we are not terrified of death at that particular moment, or whether it is actually a spirit person coming through to collect them and to take them to the other side. I'd love to believe the latter, but I won't know until I get there.
And how do people perceive these apparitions? Now, with the definition of apparition, it is something visual, yes?
Yes.
But there are also other ways to perceive these crisis manifestations, if you want to call them. You may get the whiff of somebody's perfume, or they pop into your head randomly. So depending on the way you can perceive the other side, I suppose, is the way that you'll pick up whatever the message was that they were trying to get to you.
In the 19th century, you had the Society for Psychical Research in England do a lot of study and research on this. The Society for Psychical Research in England, really what they did was collect stories. So it wasn't about really looking for the reasoning behind each particular story that they received. They were just collecting vast amounts of stories from people and collating them and putting them into these different categories to see what people were actually experiencing and what they would have been experiencing more of or less of as a whole group. And there are quite a number of those stories that are still available, and you can actually look for them. You can become a member of the Society for Psychical Research in England and get their magazines and everything, but there's also a whole lot of information online about all of this research that they did.
Now, how does it actually happen that this person is in this crisis state and they are able to project themselves sometimes thousands of miles the other side of the world at a specific moment? How does this happen?
Mm-hmm. How does it happen, Anne?
I was throwing you something there that you could have gone with, but that's okay. It is believed that it is some sort of ESP ability. So a psychokinetic a moment where you are able to project yourself to someone that you've made a link with. And sometimes they haven't even made a link with it. It's just a random one that will appear, and then later on they realise that they might see something on the news. So maybe in that case they're projecting to someone who has the ability to see them.
Yeah.
So we supposedly all have the ability of some form or other to work in this area. But I always like to explain it as we all have the ability to learn to sing. Some of us have a gift that as soon as we open our mouths we're almost perfect and they hardly need a lesson, whereas other people are barely going to ever learn to sing and tune. We all have the ability to learn, but some people will achieve greatness and some won't, and some will never even tap into the ability that they have. And I do believe that is the same with PSI ability, where some are more gifted than others. So maybe that person in that moment of crisis taps into their ability to project themselves in some sort of physical but visual manner. So are they actually tapping into your brain? Is it a physical appearance, or are they seeing this telepathically?
Well, all of the above, because some of the reports are of actually seeing a full-bodied apparition in flesh and blood, and some people, like, for example, pardon me, my father, who was seeing a vision as well. I certainly didn't see it. I was only listening to what he was saying, and he was certainly seeing something. So this kind of works both ways. This works for someone who is in the throes of passing and sees an apparition, but it is also, more than anything, the person who is in crisis, throwing their a part of their consciousness out to another person.
So we're just going to look at some of the stories. So Jenny, this is actually one that was very popular during World War I, because it was a time when spiritualism was still very popular, and people would see loved ones who had passed in conflict overseas. There's many reports during that time.
You don't have to believe in ghosts to have this particular thing happen to you. Many people do see crisis apparitions and have never had an experience. And this sometimes is the very first experience that they have, which you can just imagine how much that shakes a person. And the other point that I was going to say is
This is
completely
where we have to
gone.
put our fingers in our ears to hold our thoughts at this moment in time. So Carolyn saw paramedics bring a stretcher into my bedroom, definitely apparition. But that's not necessarily crisis apparition, but it actually is it something that's happened? Or did you have a premonition? Or
Is
give
it
us some
a
more information.
replay?
Yeah, is it a replay of something that may have happened in your room previously?
Another thing that people will say is that who may not believe in this whole thing of crisis apparitions,
boo.
is that often people may have this as a result of taking some form of drug or medication, or it's a hallucination. So rather than it being something that is external and coming to them and they have not invited it in, it is something that may be partly internal, as in some sort of conflict within their bodies because of their state of mind, their emotional state, a form of emotional trauma that is going on, which floods the body with a whole lot of different chemicals, or it could be medication that's doing it.
Just scrolling down here. Hi Maxine. Patrick has a question for us. Why do you think apparitions are like the most unlikely way for us to communicate with spirits?
As in seeing an apparition, because from the classifications that I've read, often apparitions are just visual and they don't talk a lot.
Or they're
so you kind of just get the view and you don't get anything else. It's a mixed bag, Patrick. There are so many ways people see spirits, ghosts, entities, that sometimes it is just visual, sometimes it is visual and you can hear them talk, sometimes it's just the talking thing. I do believe that what you're kind of saying there is true, that we've been ghost hunting for how long, and how often have we actually seen
You're longer
apparition?
than me.
Very rare to actually see. More than anything you feel.
She's been ghost hunting since the dinosaurs were around.
Oh no, right? Since the slate?
Since the amoeba crawled out of the ocean to grow
Charcoal and
legs.
slate? I'm glad you
Since
said they...
Adam and Eve consummated. And they're puppies.
Yeah.
I'm going down the dark hole there.
Yeah, you are. Keep going, girl.
Puppies kicked in.
Keep going. Just keep digging that hole, girl.
Oh dear.
I've got the rest of the day with you.
I know. Aren't you lucky? We've got to record our podcast today. We've got our True Hauntings podcast we're recording. Make sure you get over to iTunes and Spotify and please sign up. Please. All right. So Donna said that her grandfather in the last day spoke to his mother about his mother at the end of the bed, and this does happen as well when loved ones come to collect them at the moment that people are going to pass. Whether this is the brain starting to lose oxygen and tapping into memories, and it's our body's way of coping with it, or whether it truly is our loved ones coming to collect them. I would like to think that it's loved ones coming to collect them. I don't particularly want my mother to come collect me, though. I'll let some of my animals come and collect me. My granddad. I like my granddad. So Susan, how you going, Susan?
That is an interesting thought. Do people only see people that they had awesome communication and feelings for?
That you were safe with? Or
do people see apparitions of people that they hated or had very
Oh, if they're going to hell, they see the people they hate.
awful relationships with? Because we only tend to hear about people who have had really kind of some sort of emotional communication or an emotional link. Have you heard of anyone who has seen a crisis apparition of someone that they absolutely detested or hated? That's an awesome question.
Susan's great-grandmother saw a full-body apparition of her son after he'd been killed in the battlefield.
Yeah, you tell that story, Susan. That's just, for someone who's grieving, that is just so profound to see that. I'm not sure whether it is something that would help you with your grief, or whether it would be something that would actually just layer in another level of trauma.
Oh my heavens, Patrick! My grandmother saw the apparition of my grandfather when she turned over in the middle of the night and knocked him off the bed onto the floor. She laughed at him and he disappeared. That's insane. Wow.
No wonder you're interested in all of this stuff, Patrick. You've got some amazing stories from your family.
Joshua sees orbs all the time from the dead, including family members and those I've never met. I also believe in ESP between the living. Absolutely. I need a drink. Yeah. I wish we could come over to the conference you guys are running. I really would love to do that. We will be getting onto our free tarot readings very shortly. We'll just get through some of these stories. I was young and watched my dad have a car accident. I was in the back seat of the car. I left as the ambulance was attending to the scene. I was at home in bed when it all unfolded. I woke my mum up and told her that Dad had had an accident and that he'll be okay. Both his legs were badly broken, I told her. I also told her to answer the phone. It will be the hospital.
Wow, Tammy.
Wow.
That's just amazing. Wow. What a story.
And this is her going on. My dad was convinced there was a young child in the back seat.
Oh,
that was you.
That was you.
Oh, so you projected over to your dad because you sensed he was having a crisis. This, oh, it goes both ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Who calls who and who ends up where?
Yeah. My mum was in hospital to have my little brother by C-section due to the baby not doing well. She saw her grandmother and grandfather standing at the end of the bed. Mum said, "What are you doing here?" Her grandmother said she came to get the boy, but this is going to be okay. And she didn't need them. Mum didn't know that she was having a boy.
Oh, wow, Belinda.
Oh, I love some of these. These are fantastic. Do we believe in astral projection? Yeah, I think anything's possible. It sounds like that story of the child going into the back seat of the car was an astral projection. Yeah, there we go. And that's another reported phenomena as well. My mum died at 3 a.m. in Newcastle, and I was living in Sydney. I woke at the exact time my clock stopped too. Mm-hmm. That's another reported one.
Kevin's got a story too.
Yeah, Kevin. At a time when I was very low and given up hope, I went to bed with the thought I could happily die tonight, with no intention. To this day, two of my very close friends swear I'd come to visit them that night. They both clearly saw me in their rooms, different houses, all three of us.
Wow, Kevin.
Wow.
So the one thing that ties all of these stories together is huge emotional trauma. Or some sort of emotional dump of energy.
Which does seem to trigger PK effect.
Yeah.
And that is what's thought that creates poltergeists. Yeah. Have you ever seen the big black dog? Only ones that I've owned that were living and flesh. What about you?
No, Rosie, I have not seen the big black dog.
Some of us suffer from big black dog syndrome.
Yes. Yep. Don't need to see it, thank you.
Yeah, we don't want to have that one. We won't. Happy thoughts. Lynn, my husband said he saw my daughter-in-law's baby. She was pregnant. Turned out he had the daughter-in-laws mixed up. It was our youngest son's baby, and we didn't know they were pregnant.
That's when you go to a party or somewhere and you reveal the secret when no one has told anyone yet, and you go, oops.
Bill, for about a year or so before my grandmother died, she would see my grandfather who died years ago in the bedroom watching over her.
Yeah, Bill. That also is something when you've got couples that have been connected for so many years.
If you've got any questions for us regarding this topic, pop them in now before we switch over to our crazy mode. This is our sensible mode.
So, again, we go back to this theory of do you pass over alone, or is there always someone there waiting to escort you? And who is that person? Is it someone that you trust, someone that you love, someone that you know? And has anyone ever had the circumstance happen where they have seen someone or connected with someone that they really disliked intensely?
Oh, here's Christy. Hi, Adelaide J. I need to go get my asthma puffer.
You do.
My dad's best friend fell asleep on the lounge and woke in the middle of the night to my dad standing next to him. He asked him, Mick, what are you doing here? Dad didn't answer, so he asked Mick, are you okay? He stood up and Dad wasn't there. My dad had died a few hours earlier.
Oh, dear.
That's Christy, everyone, who is our personal assistant.
And works for peanuts.
Because
that's all we can afford.
Basically what we earn, we just give to her. We need someone to look after us because we're a bit sketchy sometimes. Alright, twin flames or soulmates. Oh, that was referring to the black dog, was it?
No, the connection. I'm not a huge believer of twin flames, Rosie, because for me that kind of puts too much pressure on somebody else to complete you.
Are you my twin flame, Renata? Are you my soulmate?
No,
she's my soul
but
sister.
Certainly there is that theory out there. So I'm not dispelling it. I'm just telling you what my personal belief systems are. And I've been asked about this twin flame thing a lot. I had very deep discussions with someone who became quite obsessive about a twin flame, and it just was literally ruining their life because they were continually searching. That's another. We can do that in tea, twin flames. Searching for that twin flame, and they never felt complete until they had found their twin flame that they believed that they had. And when that relationship broke, then it was like, well, I have to keep going back there to fix that because that's the only other person that is going to complete me. So twin flames can be really, really a difficult subject and a difficult sort of vision of how your life is going to be. But, yeah.
Gianna says, I'd love to see my son. I miss him so much, but maybe I'm a little nervous too, which is quite reasonable to feel that way. And I think sometimes your loved ones will connect with you in other ways that you would feel more comfortable with, because the last thing they want to do is scare you. Alright. Now, next week will be D. So what would you like us to cover for the letter D and the paranormal world? Oh, I'm scared to think what's good people going to put down.
I think we did doppelgangers.
Yeah, we did.
We did doppelgangers.
We've done doppelgangers.
But you are very welcome to give us a D subject.
Yeah.
And we will look at it for you.
So now what we are going to... Oh, look, Rosie just put in doppelganger. We've got a psychic connection happening. Oh, Susan, you went there. Joshua, no. Sydney, no. I don't think many people would like our approach to demons.
No, but I can bring my demon tarot deck for you.
Oh, yes.
How about that,
I've
D?
got that over there,
and
I
I can pick you all a demon that you can work with. How about that?
Christy, no.
It's called the demonic tarot or demon tarot deck, and it is based on the Rider-Waite. Awesome. And you can.
Oh, druids, that's better. Jinn. Oh, yeah.
You can pick a card, and there's a demon on it that will tell you all about you. So I will bring them next week. And I can choose some cards for you.
Gin looks like it's being very popular now.
Gin, I like gin.
Yeah.
Especially the...
Rosemary Ellen Guiley's book on it just...
Oh, that sort of gin. When we went to England last time, it was very cold. We went to November, and they had markets outside.
The Christmas markets.
And every second stall was a gin stall. Oh my Lord. They were all, I've gone completely off topic, and they were all flavoured gins, raspberry and strawberry, and they were awesome because they were giving you nips of everything. So by the time you went around, thank you, Belinda.
How do some do? Some do.
After you went around the stalls, you were off your face, and you finished it off with some warm cider.
Yes, some glühwein.
I so miss travelling overseas.
Yes, now.
Guys, get your act together so we can go overseas, please.
Yeah, well, at the moment, it's the Australians that are lagging with the...
I know, what the hell?
Vaccinations, because they've scared them all off with the AstraZeneca issues, which was actually a lot of the information came from two different studies that were combined together, which portrayed it in completely the wrong way. So we all need to get over it. The people who have passed, and look, nobody wants to get the shot and die, but the people who have passed have had medical issues, and they probably should have been given the Pfizer one, but maybe they didn't know about those medical issues. So we've had ours. We're ready to go. We want to travel.
We've had the first one. We've got to have the second one.
Yep, got to have the second one. Okay, so this is our tarot session, the Naughty and Nice Tarot. So what you need to do is think of a question you would like to ask, and then pop it into the feed down there. We prefer specific questions because we feel that we can help you more if you've got a specific question.
Plus it's quicker.
Then we will randomly start to pick people as they come through, and sometimes the feed will eat a lot of them. We miss it. We can't help it.
We are not talking about dolphins next week. No. No.
Oh, all right. So we're just waiting for that to come through now with the questions. Now, Renata reads the tarot deck. So she is a gifted and talented tarot reader.
So gifted.
I read the Naughty Spirit Oracle cards, which are always difficult to come up. I need to get them in there.
Oh, and we are going to be launching our own Naughty and Nice Tarot very soon.
The Naughty and Nice Tarot cards, or Oracle cards.
Because that's going to be a hoot.
All right, we've got our first question. Oh, yeah, so I read the Naughty and Naughty Oracle cards with no skill whatsoever, and I make it up as I go along, although sometimes it rings true. Now, if you have had a reading with us and you have had some of that come true, please let us know, like Jeremy did, and we want to, let people know that we're doing okay here. Right, Sue, should I take another mediumship class in June?
Oh, she's a course pronator.
Procrastinator.
A procrastinator, Sue, is someone who keeps on taking courses just because they think another course or another piece of paper is going to make them perfectly ready.
Oh,
so you are actually procrastinating.
Perfection becomes procrastination. Right, because and that's also the syndrome where they feel imposter syndrome. You feel like you haven't made it yet. You're not a medium yet. I'll do another course. So at some stage or other, you've got to take that leap of faith and do it. I'm going to go find my asthma puffer. You read.
So because you said another mediumship course, that's why we've gone down that angle. And we wouldn't say that unless we weren't very, very well aware of the fact that we have done that for years. And we have had to literally say, stop, now it is time for me to go into the business of doing those things, and that's where you're going to hone your skills. Another course may just bamboozle the information that's already sitting there in your brain. So I would more than anything concentrate on some meditation and accessing the knowledge that you already have and getting it to really assimilate and work for you. And don't worry about another course. It's just spending money, and don't worry about it. So our next question comes from Belinda. Will I ever own my own home? Oh, Belinda. For many people, that is such a worry, especially for Australians here, well, everywhere really, but the big dream for every Australian was to own their own quarter block and to have their own home. And it is this generation that's finding it more and more difficult, and all they can actually do is rent. But the Seven of Cups here says that there are many things possible for you, Belinda. Many things that are out there. The Seven of Cups is this beautiful card that sort of says whatever emotionally you connect with and focus on is what will come to you. Make sure that you are not focusing on too many things at once and really just getting all of that energy dissipated over so many different things that are required. All you can do is keep striving, putting money away, and hoping that prices don't go through the roof as they are at the moment. And that is completely out of our control. So you can only do what you can control, and that is the saving and the looking for a suitable place for yourself. You can't control the market, and you can't control the fact that dumb people out there are making houses and finances skyrocket so that normal people can never afford their own place.
Jeremy thought we said tarot dicks. That's like,
we're
that's New Zealanders.
We're not New Zealanders.
Also, everyone, would you mind just sharing this feed or tagging someone just so we can get our numbers up so Facebook loves us?
And so Pun loves us.
And so Pun loves us. We need to be loved.
They'll say, there's only 20 people watching.
No,
they're not very
40,
good.
41. Oh, 40. Never mind. Oops.
Just upset someone.
I think it's going to get better at work soon from Penny.
Okay, Penny, let me have a look. I'm just looking at the picture.
Oh, Maxine actually came up with a good one for D. Dracula, the truth about him. Ooh. And since we've been through Romania on Count Dracula's trail, that's actually quite an interesting topic.
Penny, are things going to get better at work soon? Well, financially they are. But you better be prepared to work harder than you ever have at this point in time, because that's what this 10 of coins is. So you have to kind of work out why you're doing it and why you're going to stay there. If financially that is what's going to float your boat and it means more money, it's what you need at this particular point in time, stick with it. But you are going to be stretched to the limit, Penny.
Okay, Penny, and the naughty cards I've drawn one for you says, stand up and speak your damn truth. So what are you shutting up about at work? And it's niggling you. It's going to become a little bit of an abscess if you don't deal with it. So don't be fearful. Speak logically, don't speak from a place of emotion, and speak your damn truth. Love, naughty spirit. We're going to go to Gianna.
Gianna, when and how will my art really take off? Well, Gianna, the thing with social media and social contact is that often not only are you selling your art, but you're selling you. Okay, so people are liking you as well as the art that you create. So it is about your story. Make sure you are sharing yourself when it comes to the stuff that you do. So if you have a social media presence, make sure you talk about your story, what you love about the creating of the artwork, how you do it. Share those bits of yourself that make you vulnerable, and that may be something that connects with people, because people like that. People like to know that you aren't perfect and that everything you do is going to be absolute perfection, because people just get pissed off with that a lot. But you have the 10 here, the 10 of Cups, which is this beautiful card that says this is what I really love. This is what I adore. And this hopefully is going to actually also bring me the financial success that I require to have the home and the comforts that I really want. You're going to look at another hard 12 months, Gianna, and that's just being honest with you. I'd love to say it's all just going to
Sunshine and roses.
Be sunshine and roses and fluff, but it's going to be another hard 12 months. But you should see results this time next year.
And I have a card for you as well, which is, oh my God, you're supposed to stand still in life. You're supposed to grow in life, not fecking stand still. So unless you change what you're doing, nothing's going to change. So you're going to have to take a little bit of a risk and take a step into a direction that you've gone, oh, I don't really like that. I don't want to do it. But you need to. So change what you're doing. Love, Naughty Spirit. Right, Tanya, will my naughty son be okay?
Oh, Tanya. Let me have a look.
Oh, the feed just jumped, everyone. Sorry. Oh, you know what we need to do? I'll put up our 1, 2, 3 up the back here.
This Four of Swords is an interesting card, and he's built a fantasy world around him and around himself. He kind of isn't in the reality of how things are, maybe because he doesn't like the reality, or maybe it doesn't sit well with him. There's a mismatch or a misunderstanding of what life really is at the moment. You're going to have to teach him with difficult lessons and try not to sugarcoat everything or kind of say everything's going to be okay when it's not. You're going to have to put your I'm a mum and I'm going to put my stern mummy pants on and teach him some lessons or get guidance for him if that is too difficult for you or you don't want to do that. But it's important that you are his mother and not his best friend. He has other best friends.
Okay, and Naughty Spirit is telling you to take a fecking breath already. So maybe not nagging so much and just let him fail a little bit. It might be helpful. Now, what we do here, so that everybody gets a reading, we are going to put 3 cards up the back. And at the end of the show, you choose either 1, 2, or 3. And that way, everybody gets a prize! Nobody misses out, because we hate to disappoint.
And you get a reading. And
you get a reading.
And you get a reading.
Hey, Bill, you're going to Lemp Mansion. Oh, I'm so jealous. On True Hauntings podcast, we actually looked at the Lemp Mansion. So you should go listen to that before you actually go, because it gives you some background and possibly debunking, and it was actually a really good episode. It was recommended to us by Patrick Keller.
Yes. And Bill, yes, you will have an encounter there. Watch the stairs. And next time we're on, let us know what happens.
And happy birthday!
Watch the stairs, Bill.
I'm just looking for... There it is. I'll put that podcast up there so you can find that, guys. We'd really appreciate your support on that one. It's going great guns, but we need just a few more downloads. Would be awesome.
No, lots more downloads.
Jeremy said, if I came back as a dolphin, would you listen to me then?
No.
All right, Joshua. Will I be my own?
Be on my own come year's end. Should I start preparing? Oh, Joshua. Oh dear.
The problem is if you start preparing, it's almost like
you've already given up.
You've already given up and you've already made the decision. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a relationship or whether this is a passing.
I'd kind of probably start preparing. I'll just put that away.
It's not a bad one. And see, when you do that, people freak out thinking they've got the devil card or the death card.
But as Anne said, part of what you've already done is to kind of say, I'll probably be on my own by the end of the year. So you've already got that mindset going.
Just here, Jazzy BO52, just in the comments.
I guess from one perspective, some people like to be prepared for all scenarios. So you may as well prepare because you kind of already started that journey already. But I suggest, Joshua, that part of what is going on for you is sitting in the darkness. When the other opportunity is to look at things and reframe them from another perspective. So as long as you sit in the darkness and continue to prepare...
Now, when I say darkness, we don't mean dark, demonic, horrible stuff. We just mean...
dark moods. Mood swings.
Negativity.
The thing is to look at it from a different perspective and see what you can change.
Here we go. Barbara Harrington Craft, whose name we absolutely love. Do you see things being okay financially for me when I retire next year? Would love a card from both decks. That's in a dick, so I've just got a blocked nose. Thank you, hay fever and asthma and old lady tissues. They're full of perfume and making it worse.
The sun card.
The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be song. There you go. That's
Everything will be fine.
Okay. And whatever you do, love it feckin' hard. Don't waste your time on anything that doesn't bring you joy, my love. Love, naughty spirit.
That was simple.
Yep. Will I find a job that doesn't trigger my anxiety as much as the last?
Oh, Kate. It's probably not the job, it's the people, Kate. And you know what?
You're probably an empath.
People are everywhere, and that's the problem.
Find a job online. Like this. Fantastic. We can talk to you all, but we don't actually see people.
Yes.
Which worries me when we go on our tarot, the Naughty and Nice tarot tour around Australia. We're doing live shows. We have to see people.
Kate, you might need to be a librarian or something where everyone has to be quiet anyway. So this is about you finding a job that you understand is not going to trigger your anxiety. And I know this is really, really difficult because my younger daughter is having the same problem. She needs to find something that doesn't trigger her anxiety. But the more you stay away from work, also the higher your anxiety becomes, and the lower the lower is your ability to cope. But the Three of Coins, which is this gorgeous and interesting card, is a card of collaboration, and it talks about you actually finding your tribe, the people that are going to work with you and help and assist you to carry through and get through all of these problems. So this actually looks really good, Kate.
And look, I'm not speaking from someone who has suffered from anxiety, but there is so many of us out there now who do suffer from anxiety, and sadly the world is not lenient on us, so or on them, not us. So you have to try and find ways, mechanisms to cope. Things that work for you. Tapping apparently is really great for this sort of thing. So find some ways to start to heal yourself from the anxiety instead of just recoiling all the time. Is that possible to do, Renata? You're a counsellor.
Anxiety is also a state where you are preempting everything so that you have a plan just in case it happens. So there is a fear of the future that sits there, and a fear of your day-to-day connection with the world, and that has something that needs to sort of be worked on. And I know I'm telling someone who is doing that and has been doing that for a really long time, I'm sure, because everyone who has anxiety loves to hear from people who tell them how to do things. I'm sure you've been trying as best that you can, but just referring back to this fear of what could happen is where anxiety lives. So you have to continually look at how you can cut through that and give yourself the opportunity to think and be in ways that you don't have to stress or be fearful. And that doesn't mean locking yourself away in your room and not getting out of there, because you're still going to create anxiety even if you do that.
And welcome Amanda from Liverpool, UK. That's awesome. Our friend Beth finally got out and investigated the other day. She's got a paranormal hangover. She's living near London, and I was so excited for her to finally have her paranormal hangover, because it means that you've been out investigating. Love listening to you too. Probably look like a lunatic when I'm walking by myself and laughing at the things you say. It's okay, we're lunatics. And Kerry binge watched our show when they discovered us. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Kerry.
Have you found us on YouTube yet? We're on YouTube as well, Anne and Renata. There's loads over there. All right, Kerry, will I ever pull myself out of struggling each month financially? Now, I have to warn you, the feed did jump and we lost a lot of questions. So if we've missed you, just pop it in one more time and we'll see if we can get to you. But we are starting to run out of time.
The Fool card says there needs to be a change, Kerry, and again, it's really, really difficult to say there needs to be a change when there can be no change at that particular point in time where you are. But a change has to occur, because if you continue to do the same thing every day and every week, you will continue to be struggling each month financially and nothing will improve. So something has to give. Put your thinking cap on and see what can be done, if it can be done.
I thoroughly recommend a book. Now, I don't know which country you're in, Kerry, but it's called The Barefoot Investor, B-A-R-E. That sort of bear, not the bear. Barefoot Investor. I can't remember who it's by, but it is really easy to read. I was having a laugh all the way through it. Like, that sort of book normally will not hold me because my brain will switch off, but this one did, and it gives you very simple ways to get your life back under control financially. I can't recommend it enough. Go do it, go get it and have a read if you can.
Hold on, I'm just looking for it now.
Barefoot Investor.
It is available on Amazon, and it's written by Scott Pape, and that's what it looks like. There you go, Barefoot Investor.
So obviously when they're talking about superannuation and retirement, it will be for the Australian market, but there are other mechanisms in there that will help you.
Simple.
Really awesome. It changed my whole way of looking at money.
Oh, Gianna, it's hard anyway. It's only been 9 months since my son died.
Oh, my love.
I'm so sorry, Gianna.
That is, yeah. I don't even have words.
Yeah.
My son is 27 and it's just like...
we need to do this because we need to get off.
All right, we need to get off. Only because she's got a radio interview to go to.
No, it's because we're up to time.
I know. But,
right,
all right.
Okay,
so
choose 1, 2 or 3, guys. So 1, 2
what
or
are you
3?
drawn to? This is number 1. It's hard to see in that light. This is number 2. And this is number 3.
Thank you, Barbara Harrington Craft. I just need to say that name because it's beautiful. Barbara Harrington Craft.
Right, write your number down so you're committed to it. Write your number down. Just hang on. Wait, just wait.
Which one are you choosing?
I might go 1 today.
All right, well, I'll go 2.
All right.
I'll go 2. All right, okay.
Let's go.
If you chose card number 1.
Think of your question.
You have the Queen of Cups. So you're going to be emotionally triggered this week, and you're going to be asked to make some decisions, and they're going to really be based on how you emotionally feel, not how you logically think about things. So just be careful as to how you make those decisions and whether they are the right ones. So it will be first a heart thing. Give it a moment and then think again with your mind and see whether the two relate to each other. The Queen loves to appease people and make sure that everyone is okay. And sometimes you tend to do that all the time, which means you kind of end up with nothing.
Sorry, the postman just arrived, as the dogs let me know. And you need to be your own fecking hero. Step up yourself and solve your own problems going on in your life. Stop blaming on every other bugger around you and look after it yourself, because there's no one else that can fix it apart from you. I wonder what this is.
Thank you, Joshua. We had to meet you one day as well. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully it's not my new dildo, because this could be rather...
Stop it!
Ow, that's my arm!
I don't care!
Ow!
I don't care. If you chose number 2, can you not do this now?
Oh, it's an opening. It's a reveal.
Can you not do it now?
No, I'm doing it now because this is awesome. Does it need batteries? Oh, I know what it is. Look. Triple goddess. There we go. Mother, maiden, crone.
Are you right now?
I'm right now. I've just got to put her here.
So if you chose card number 2 before we were rudely interrupted by a package coming.
That was from AliExpress.
You have the 4 of Cups. Damn it! I hate reading for myself because the tarot always tells me something that I need to work on, which is shit. But that's what tarot is all about. So the 4 of Cups says, stop looking at what you don't have and start looking at what is coming to you, because you're going to freaking miss it by being in your whingy spot all the time. And I'm telling myself this as well as anyone who picked number 2. Sorry.
All right. And what the feck are you waiting for? This is your big ass sign. So stop making excuses. Now is the time to go do it. Love, naughty spirit.
And number 3, if you chose number 3, you have the Hangman card. So this card is actually asking you to look at things differently. Choose a different perspective for your particular problem or position. Because again, if you continue looking at it in the same way every day, you're not going to get any new answers. You're going to go back in circles and you're still going to be stuck where you're stuck. And this is all about unsticking.
Sorry about that. I'll just wheeze on you. Okay. If you got that one, love fecking hard. So whatever you choose to do in life, love it with every aspect of your being. Don't go half-heartedly into it. Just love it. All right.
And that's the end of the paranoia session. Thank you so very much.
Coming up next on the Paranormal United Network, we're going to be discussing the terrifying tale of the haunted dildo. It's a D word.
Jeremy, we'll look hard for
I'm
you.
going to look
We're
it
going
up.
to see if we can find one.
See if there is a haunted dildo story. I'm sure there is.
We'll create one for you.
Next on True Hauntings.
We'll do the Philip experiment, but we'll do it with a haunted dildo. Thank you so much for that idea, Jeremy.
Oh boy. All right, yeah, Crazy Joe, we'll get over to Instagram and have a look at that. Anyway, bless you all. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for supporting the Paranormal United Network and Anne and Renata, Frightfully Good, and True Hauntings and everything else you do. See yous all on the dark side. Bye.